It's an iconic Wild moment and call that Bob Kurtz will never forget.
It was a surprise for me when Brunette scored. I think it was for Tom. Tom about fell out of the booth as well. I think Jacques even on the bench. I mean, we did it. And it still is the best playoff run in Wild history.
Bob's had a pretty good run, too. He began his career in the 70s doing play-by-play at Michigan State and loved his visits to Minnesota when the Spartans played the Gophers.
So I figured if I can't work in Detroit, I would like to work in Minneapolis. Minnesota's Big Ten country. I'd like to go there.
So, on a whim, he ordered the Star Tribune to his home in Lansing, saw an ad in the paper for the Twins play-by-play job, applied, and in his own words, was surprisingly hired.
Broke in with the Twins back in 1967. His big year was 77, the year he hit .388 and was the most valuable player. There's a drive to left field, base hit. There's number 3,000 for Carew.
The interesting part of my broadcasting tape is I had to make a tape, and I was working for Channel 23 in East Lansing, Michigan. One of the guys working there was a guy named Jim Cash. Jim Cash helped me with my tape. Jim Cash went on to write Top Gun, Dick Tracy, Legally, on to fame. But he started with my audition tape.
As Bob tells it, one job led to another, and he was soon asked to call North Stars games as well.
I'm Bob Kurtz along with Tom Reed, and I don't know if you can hear me. I can barely hear you, Bob.
He also spent a few years in Boston calling Red Sox games before returning to Minnesota as the Wild's first ever play-by-play voice.
I had this idea that I wanted to work for an expansion team. I wanted to get in on the ground floor and see how everything started at first. It was fun to be in on the ground floor. Then it's funny how then it gets going, and all of a sudden you basically forget you're an expansion team, and now you're expected to win.
Bob misses his time in the booth with partner and friend Tom Reed, but he doesn't miss being on the road.
I think of my good old buddy Tom Reed, 15 games in 27 nights in God knows how many cities, how many times those. That's the grind. But once the game starts, that always pulls you through.
Great players will pull you through too. Players like Kirill Kaprizov and Marian Gaborik.
And taken away by Gaborik. He's got a chance for 5. Here's Gaborik in, shoot, score! Gaborik with 5 goals tonight.
Gaborik was the first superstar the Wild had. He would bring you out of your seats. He was electrifying when he got going. He could do absolutely nothing for like 45 minutes, then all of a sudden appear out of nowhere. Kaprizov you notice Kaprizov all 60 minutes of the hockey game.
A breakaway for Kaprizov. He's in, he shoots, he scores! Kaprizov in his Wild debut.
The escalation in his voice, anticipating a pinnacle play, is his talent.
Gaborik, back come the Wild. Here's Park, right side, Park, score! Richard Park has scored in overtime!
His gift to the listener is making those crescendo calls and not having the moment be about him.
I'm from the old school. Basically, people don't come to the game to hear me. You come to the game to watch the players and the show. That's the way we were at that time. I think as an announcer, you can enhance the game for somebody, or you can ruin it for somebody. And usually, of course, it falls someplace in between. But, they're not there. They don't tune into the game just to hear me.
However, Bob does want all the fans to hear this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. They've been absolutely tremendous. I'm honored by all this. A little uncomfortable, a lot uncomfortable, but I'm truly honored by it.